Well, most definitely, yes. And like you said, he had the sight on that natural. He saw, I mean, on his opponent's natural. He saw his opponent moving out. His opponent wasn't expanding. He had quite a sizable force. And then he threw down that natural expansion anyway. So, as you said, definitely an error in judgment there. And it might have cost him the game. So, let's see if he can do a bit better on Steps of War. As Bakchiadai spawns bottom left. No problems with those probes. This time, no traffic jams there. And Pandatank spawning top right. So this is a bit of a shout out from Bakchiadai in the absence of AA. I think he was talking about Angry African. Good luck, have fun, yo. I see Strom is joining us in the observers right now. Strom, you're a naughty guy. You didn't pitch up for your games, as far as I know. But I'm not gonna complain about that. The games are moving along swimmingly, and this is our second game between Pandatank and Bakchiadai. Bakchiadai managing to take the first one pretty impressively. Some really nice play from him on Zelnaga Caverns, and let's see if he can pull through another win on this map. So do you expect these players to mirror each other as closely as they were in the previous game?
Yeah, absolutely. I think they're going to stick with their strongest builds for a game of this importance. So yeah, I mean, I'd like to see it again, and then hopefully Pandatank using his sight a bit better to even the scores up.
Yeah, no, I mean, I gotta say I agree with you there, and you know, those observers are such a huge advantage. Having sight of your opponent's base without him even knowing that, it's so great. That's such an advantage that Protoss has. But as you were saying, definitely mirroring each other right now. Gas coming up a little bit earlier for Bakchiadai. That was about 2 seconds earlier. There goes Pandatank's gas.
Yeah, that probe is working furiously at that pylon.
Yeah, we always have a nice little laugh at the probe, and if you zoom in, you can see that little, let's just call it a compartment on his head open up, and the little shock beam comes out of there, so it's all really cool. All these tiny little animations making those probes so special to us.
We've got a taser glued to his forehead.
Indeed. Okay, so both players doing pretty much the same thing. Base builds, let's have a look at the base builds. But Pandatank hiding his pylon away nicely behind that gateway. Bakchiadai is maybe not as good. And let's talk about that pylon for a second. It's actually...
pylon is now in yellow.
Ooh, okay, and Bakchiadai decides to do something about it at last. Wow, that's a lot of HP that he managed to remove there. But there comes the shield again, so that pylon is going to survive.
Yeah, what was it, 350 damage overall on the pylon?
Yeah, impressive stuff.
Probe that does 5 damage.
Some sort of hero probe. Okay, so for both players, we've got the cybernetics cores going up. There's a slight variation already. First up, Pandatank's chrono boosting that Stalker out, and Bakchiadai at the same time chrono boosting the Zealot out. And it seems like both players also chrono boosting their warp gate No, Pandatank's not chrono boosting his.
I'd like to see Pandatank move that Stalker up into his base and start hassling.
Yeah, you know, Stalker against Zealot, it's pretty obvious which one's going to come out on top. Should the player micro a little bit, move it around, take those moving shots as he can. But here comes an incredibly early robotics facility for Bakchiadai. Let's see if his opponent's going to mirror him with that.
Yeah, the Stalker for Pandatank is going to be useless now, as Bakchiadai's got his Stalker out as well.
Yeah, 2v1, never good. He realizes that and he pulls out. So what I want to see right now, I'm going to tell you exactly what I want to see, and I'm actually seeing it right now, because Pandatank needs to throw down 4 gateways to counter this early robo facility from his opponent, and he needs to just pump out all those units as much as he can, put on some pressure, and take advantage of the fact that his opponent wasted all that gas, all those minerals on that early robo facility.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Pandatank has no idea that there's a robo facility down at the moment. Yeah. But as a preemptive move, he's doing a pretty good job.
Yeah, definitely. And it looks like he's sort of suspecting that it's time to push, because he's got his proxy pylon going down sort of below the ramp at his opponent's natural. So it's pretty close. He's going to be able to get those units in there as quickly as need be. And it looks like Bakchiadai, he's going to be ready for it, but only just. He's got quite a few less units out at the moment.
Yeah, he's also chrono boosting an Immortal out, so that's going to be out imminently.
But at the same time, wow, Pandatank got quite a force moving in here. That's six Stalkers, 1 probe, 2 sentries.
Nice force field on the ramp to keep the enemies at bay while he reinforces.
And some nice focus fire by Pandatank. He managed to take out a Zealot. So Pandatank needs to be very careful here, but I gotta say as well, not too careful, because if he hangs back too long, that second Immortal is gonna be out to bother him.
Pylon going down right in front of the ramp.
Yeah, interesting move. It's maybe just to distract his opponent, but and he cuts off one of those sentries.
Catch.
Nice move. 2 sentries
All 3 of
going
them
down.
there. Fantastic.
Brilliant force field by Pandatank there.
That pylon is now finished.
Ooh, yes.
4 more Stalkers coming in for Pandatank.
Nice aggressive play by Pandatank. We might actually see him pull this one back, but there's the Immortal. The Immortal's in play. Let's see how much damage it can do. I think Bakchiadai needs reinforcements, and he needs them soon. 2 Immortals in play now, and Pandatank just running in circles around this pylon of his. You know what I want to see? I want to see a Forge going down. I want to see some Photon Cannons coming up, but it's too late. Bakchiadai decides to move out and take down that pylon. Okay, so I'm telling you now, right now, here's the thing. Here's something that I'm not enjoying very much. Pandatank deciding to throw down his own robo facility, where I think he should have thrown down. He should have kept up this pressure with the 4-gate that he was running. It's a bit of a mistake if you ask me, because he's already behind in the robo facility production, where his opponent's already throwing down a robotics bay right now. He should have rather just tried to keep up that pressure, because he was doing such a nice job on that ramp already.
Yeah, no, I think so. I agree with you there. Pandatank is supply capped now. Well, he just came out of it because of those 2 pylons that fell. And Bakchiadai has put his expansion down at its natural.
Yeah, you see, that's a mistake that I think Pandatank is making. Bakchiadai is going to get that expansion up. He's probably even going to get it fully saturated in no time at all. And all of that because Pandatank didn't choose to carry on that push. That was a mistake, if you ask me. He knew that his opponent got the robotics facility out earlier. He probably knew because of that he had another gateway. He had an extra gateway out. He had that bit of extra Vuma, you know, and it would have been good to see him carry on pushing. So right now I think we actually slowly but surely going to see the fall of Pandatank, because those 2 Immortals that are already in Bakchiadai's army and that Colossus that's on the way, definitely going to work strongly in Bakchiadai's favor.
Yeah, no, completely. I think Bakchiadai is also doing the thermal lance research now for his Colossus.
Yeah, so if you look at the numbers, I think Pandatank slightly ahead. Pandatank stood on 73 population, Bakchiadai on 67, but it's pretty close, and I think we're going to see another engagement happening in just a couple of seconds. They're dancing around the middle of the map right now. Pandatank deciding to put on another proxy pylon, but Bakchiadai is ready for him. Yeah, so once again, I think Pandatank made a bit of a mistake by easing off that pressure, and it might well cost him this game. There we go, the fight starts.
He needs to focus down that Colossi. It's sitting in the middle of Bakchiadai's units and it's just tearing things up.
Brilliant work by the Colossus, taking down those Stalkers so easily. This game is going very quickly to Bakchiadai. All those Stalkers of Pandatank having to run away now. Their shields are depleted, and Bakchiadai is chasing his opponent down. I gotta say, nice use of Guardian Shield again by Bakchiadai. He's keeping all his units inside the Guardian Shield while he chases Pandatank down. A couple of Zealots going down there, and now this game I think is pretty firmly in Bakchiadai's hands. He's got his natural up and running. His income is pulling away pretty steadily, sitting on 1,100 compared to 700 of his opponent. So yeah, this looks like game to Bakchiadai. Interestingly enough, we've got an observer out for Pandatank again. It seems like Bakchiadai plays his Protoss versus Protoss slightly more from gut feeling. You know, he builds what he thinks he needs. He doesn't scout out as much as his opponent does, and I suppose one has to respect that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Bakchiadai has been he played well in these last 2 games, and he's stuck with his guns, and he's decided what he wants to do, and he's done it.
Exactly. I think it's really good that a player sort of they decide to do something they shouldn't do it halfway, like Pandatank did with his little push there. He got all the way up his opponent's ramp, and then he decided, okay, no, this is not for me, and he pulled back. So, big mistake there. Pandatank still just floating around with that observer, getting a good look around. He knows that expansion is up and running. He knows he's going to lag behind big time on income, and that's not good for him.
Bakchiadai is also researching his ground weapons, level 1 on his forge. So that's going to be another big advantage he has into the
That's
class.
pretty interesting. We haven't been seeing many upgrades in this tournament thus far.
Yeah, no, we haven't.
And obviously those are upgrades that are pretty critical. The more units you get out, the more those upgrades help. So Bakchiadai obviously deciding, thinking to himself, okay, we're going into mid-game now. It's definitely going to be advantageous if I actually get that research done soon.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd also like to see from one of the players, perhaps Twilight Council, to get those Zealot legs or the Stalker Blink.
And once again, that's sort of exactly the same as the weapon upgrades, because the more you have, the better it works.
Yeah.
So a bit of a mainer transfer here. Pandatank throwing down those probes from his main on his natural. He doesn't want to deplete the main just yet. He's still got the main fully saturated at the moment, so both players are now equal with income, but Bakchiadai had that expansion up for quite a bit longer, and thereby he's actually sitting on 120 population right now, and Pandatank only on 89. So I'd like to see one of these guys make a move soon. I don't want them sitting in their bases forever and ever. I'd like to see a bit of action, so I think Bakchiadai is probably going to be the one to give us that action. He's probably going to move out on his opponent in just a couple of seconds.
Yeah, he's got a pretty sizable force at the moment. He should be able to move out. He's got 9 Zealots, 2 Immortals, 3 Colossi, and 16 Stalkers.
Yeah, that's a lot of Stalkers, and he's got that upgrade for the weapons level 1, so that's going to be a bit more damage. So here comes this push, and I think this is going to be the push of doom for Bakchiadai. He's going to be able to take his opponent down now. 4 Immortals out for Pandatank. Ooh, here comes the fight. That range on those Colossi is so high.
Yeah, no, it's ridiculous. The Colossi have such huge range with that upgrade.
Pandatank doesn't know that there's an observer sitting right there. What Bakchiadai needs to do right now is he needs to take those Colossi up the cliff and start picking away at the force, and he does that. He moves in now. Brilliant work from the Colossus. Some nice force fields.
The Colossi is just mowing through Pandatank's forces.
Yeah, should Pandatank have had Blink there? Oh, some nice force fields blocking there. Brilliant stuff. GG from Pandatank. Nothing he could do there. Bakchiadai played like a champ. 100% deserving of this win. That last fight was incredibly quick and incredibly well played by Bakchiadai. So that's 2-0 to Bakchiadai.